Lehigh Valley Buy Fresh Buy Local. It's a Discover You Can grant through the Ball Corporation. And we have with us today Carrie Haranek, and she is going to be sharing her experience as a fairly young new canner, right? Yes. So, and she just wants people to understand that, hey, anybody can do this. It's a great way to preserve the fresh seasonal flavors that you get at the market. So I'm going to hand things over to Carrie, and here we go. Thanks, Megan.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that I'm getting over a cold, and so my voice is a little raspy. But I just started doing this a couple of years ago, and it's not that hard to do. It just takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of time to block out to get started. So you probably know you can can just about anything you want. I've done this apple butter that's here, that's going around. We can distribute if you want. We have some samples of. I did that last fall, and I've done jam, and I did tomato sauce last fall, I guess in September, when all the tomatoes were sort of at their most abundant, and was surprised by how half a bushel of tomatoes only turned into about 5 things of this tomato sauce. I was very sad. So this year I'm going to do much more, and I got a little bit crazy with my tomato plantings this year, so we'll see. So, but in any case, the thing I just want to really stress is what Megan said, is that it's really easy. It's not hard. Don't be afraid of like bacteria or screwing up. Like, it's pretty easy to determine whether or not. So you basically would just take your empty jars and you put it in the pot, and the pot at this point has, you know, it's about half full with simmering boiling water. And then each recipe will have different instructions for how long you have to process it. So the actual processing part is when you put the lid on, and then you start to hear this like crazy racket of, make a little audio sample there, in your kitchen, and that is the process. That's the actual processing part that's taking place. And so what happens then is that the air is coming out, and everything is getting cooked to, I think it's like 212 degrees or something. I don't know, like I said, I'm not an expert. Math and science are not totally my strong suit, so I was a little leery at first of doing this whole process. Yes, Lainey?
Is it okay to ask questions?
Yes, it's okay to ask questions.
Okay, that sound?
Yes.
That's okay?
Yeah, first...
Because I would get scared.
You would get scared.
I would feel like, oh my god,
It's going to blow up.
explode.
No, it's not going to blow up.
It's okay.
It's okay.
For a long time?
Well, each recipe is different. So some of them say process for 10 minutes, some say 20. It depends on what you're doing. But most things that, like jellies and tomato sauces, which I've also done that are high acid, you can do in this. You can do in a regular boiling method. The other method, which I haven't done, is low acid stuff like vegetables, like corn and things like that. I haven't gone that far, but like I said, I have this big thick book here. Maybe I'll get into that this summer. And that you have to actually buy like a pressure cooker for, which I don't have. And that has to do with bacteria growth and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll make a racket, and you'll think, okay, all right, whatever. But then what happens when it's done, like after your 10 minutes or so, whatever the recipe says. And this is one of those activities that you don't want to say, oh, I'll just wing it, or oh, I'll just add this, or oh, I'll just double it, or oh, like with cooking, you can be really kind of generous and play around with recipes. You don't want to mess with this. You want to try to do it by the book at least once, because if you mess around with either amounts or times, or even, you know, to some extent using a different kind of pectin if you're doing jam, it's not going to work the way that it's supposed to. And then you'll have this big waste of time and a big waste of food, and then you'll be really mad. So, at least I would be. So, yeah, if you're hearing that racket, if you're hearing like a, you know, rattling, it's totally fine. And so, when you're done, turn off your stove, take the lid off, and generally, when I did the apple butter, I had so much that I had several pots going, so, like, yeah, you know, you could use a big pot, but just whatever you have, it doesn't matter. You know, it's really not a big deal. Because you just want something that's going to fit what you've got. So, like, if you're doing, you know, a bigger jar, obviously you need a bigger pot. I think I used my 16 quart when I did these. This is actually just mint from last summer. This is just for illustration purposes, not because I canned mint. I dehydrated it with Morgan's mint. Anyway, so you take it out, and what I generally do is, just because I didn't want, you know, I didn't want to make a mess on my countertops. I just laid out a whole bunch of clean towels all over my countertop, lined everything up like little soldiers, and you know, you take everything out, and at that point, you're good to go. You put the lids on, the bands on, and you're all set. And so, actually, no, you put the bands on, the lids go on when you put them in, and then you just wait, and that's the hard part. You have to wait. In some cases, you know, I think they say 12 hours is a general rule of thumb. And at the end of that time, you will pretty clearly know. That's right, 12 hours? 12 to 24 hours. At that point, you will pretty much know whether or not you screwed up. And I'll tell you how. Basically, you've got these lids here. I can't compete with Dave Matthews, but when you're finished, okay, and you've turned and you've screwed the lid on, you don't want to screw it too tight. There needs to be a little bit of play so that the air can get out. If you try to pop the top, it shouldn't pop. You shouldn't hear it spring back. It should not spring back in your hand. And if it does, it means it just didn't get processed correctly. However, don't panic. That's not a big deal. What you can do is you can eat it instantly, and by instantly I mean within a week or so. Put it in your fridge, put it in your freezer, or you can reprocess. I don't really honestly know where this instinct in me came out of. I have must have been like a prairie woman in another lifetime or something. But I just got really into it, and you know, it's cool to be able to do something yourself and say, you know, I canned this, or I grew this, and then now I'm preserving it and I'm holding on to it. And the coolest thing is being able to, I think so far, the coolest thing has been able to go to my pantry in December or January and pull out a jar of tomato sauce that you make in the middle, the height, the pinnacle, the zenith of summer. And you open it and it's just like, oh, it's like summer in a jar. It's just the best. So, but I didn't have enough summer in the jar, so this year I'm going to do more. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm kind of just talking all over the place. Yes, you in the back. Yeah.
Do you ever layer it
No, because what'll happen is with displacement, the water will come up, and so you just put it all in a single layer, which is why you may probably wind up with a bunch of different, a motley assortment of pots on your stovetop. I have a 16-quart stock pot that I used, I think, for these guys, and you can even get jars that are bigger than this. I think this is 24 ounces. I guess, I don't know, it looks like it's bigger than that. But you can get even bigger than that. And these are the wide mouth jars, which tend to make putting things in a lot easier, especially if you're doing pickles or something like that, because they kind of get, a little unwieldy as you're transferring them. But no, I would imagine that I wouldn't do that because I think it would throw everything off kilter. So you'll just wind up with a whole bunch of pots all over the stove, and it'll just be a big hot mess and whatever. All right, well, thanks so much for coming by. And there's samples here of apple butter on some Kashi crackers, and don't forget to put your name in the proverbial hat to win some goodies. And feel free to take the pectins. There's different pectins here. There's a pectin. The pectin in the pouch is for freezer jam. Freezer jam, you don't even have to really cook. You can just chop it and get a potato masher and smash stuff all up. And you mix it with the sugar and the pectin, and you can stick it right in the freezer, which sounds really awesome. I think I'm going to try that this year. Yeah, so don't be afraid. You can do it. Thanks.
Great job, Carrie.